Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to talk about something that's incredibly powerful and, for a lot of people, incredibly scary: public speaking. We'll be using Stephen Lucas's classic book, The Art of Public Speaking, as our guide to help you find your voice and, really speak with confidence. So, let's just jump right in with a big question. What do you think is humanity's single greatest fear? Is it heights? Spiders? Maybe the dark? Well, the answer, it might actually surprise you. Get this. One study found that a whopping 62% of people are absolutely terrified of public speaking. That's more than the number of people who are afraid of dying. Just let that sink in. It means that at a funeral, a good chunk of people would literally rather be the one in the coffin than the one giving the eulogy. Crazy, right? So you might be thinking, why on earth would I ever want to face a fear that intense? Well, here's why. Because your voice is an incredibly powerful tool. Seriously, facing this fear isn't just about giving a speech. It's like your own personal call to adventure. It's a chance to make a real impact on the world around you. Let me tell you about a guy named Josh Shipp. His story is incredible. He started out as an at-risk kid in the foster system, bounced from home to home. He felt totally lost, like he was just labeled a problem. But then something amazing happened. He started sharing his story. And he discovered that by speaking up, he could connect with people and push for real change. He completely turned his life around and became this powerful voice for teenagers everywhere. And that's what makes his message so powerful. Look at this quote. He's not just telling his own story, is he? He's flipping the script. He's turning his personal journey into a challenge for every single one of us. Basically saying, hey, you can be the one who changes things. And that's really the core of it. Your voice is like a superpower. Think about it. It can help you land that promotion at work, persuade people in your community to make a change, or just share something you're really passionate about. It is pure empowerment. So, where are we getting all this great advice? Well, our main guide for this whole journey is this book right here, Stephen Lucas's The Art of Public Speaking. And this thing is the real deal. It's a classic for a reason. It has literally helped millions of people conquer their fear and find their voice. All right, so where do we begin? Well, if this is a hero's journey, the first step is always confronting the dragon, right? And for public speaking, that dragon is definitely that anxiety we all feel. But here's the most important thing to remember right from the start. You are not alone in feeling this way. Check this out. You'd think this quote is from some terrified student giving their first presentation, right? Nope. This is from Cicero, one of the greatest orators in the history of the world. Even the absolute masters felt that gut-wrenching fear. And the list goes on and on. You've got world leaders like Lincoln and Churchill, and even modern-day superstars like Oprah, Leonardo DiCaprio, and Jennifer Lawrence. All of them have talked about battling stage fright. So you see, it's not a weakness. If anything, it just means you care. This brings us to a really crucial idea. We need to reframe what we're feeling. Let's stop calling it stage fright. The book calls it positive nervousness. I love that. It's that little jolt of adrenaline, that zesty, lively feeling. And the key is, you can actually learn to harness it, turn it into fuel for a really dynamic, energized speech. Okay, that sounds great in theory, but how do you actually do it? Well, you're going to need a toolkit. So let's start forging your sword and shield so you can turn all that nervous energy into real, solid confidence. So the book gives us 6 clear, proven strategies. And look, this isn't some magic trick. It's a step-by-step process. Just doing it, more, getting experience, that's huge. And being prepared, that alone can slash your anxiety by up to 75%. The rest are all about these smart mental shifts that put you back in the driver's seat. Let's talk about thinking positively, because it's not just about, good vibes only. It's an active strategy. When that little negative voice pops into your head saying, I'm not a great speaker, you need to have a comeback ready. You literally have to be your own hype person, your own coach. And then there's visualization. You know how Olympic athletes mentally run through their entire routine before they even compete? It's the exact same idea for speaking. Don't just practice the words. Close your eyes and rehearse the whole thing in your mind. See yourself walking up there, totally confident. Hear your own voice, strong and clear. Picture the audience nodding along, totally hooked. Okay, now for those last few moments right before you go on, this stuff is gold. Take a few slow, deep breaths. It physically calms your body down. Scan the room and find a few friendly faces to make eye contact with. And please, remember this. Your goal is just to communicate. It's about connection, not perfection. Nobody's expecting a flawless performance. All right. So once you start getting a handle on the fear, you can move on to actually mastering the craft itself. And that starts with understanding what's really going on under the hood, the actual mechanics of communication. Turns out every time you speak, there are these 7 things all happening at once. Take interference, for example. That could be something external, like, a loud air conditioner, but it can also be internal, like your own nervous thoughts getting in the way. Or feedback. That's just the fancy word for reading the room, noticing if people are smiling or looking confused. Knowing how all these parts work together, that's how you learn to adapt on the fly. But listen, being a great speaker isn't just about technique. That's not the end of the story. The final, and I'd argue the most important part of this journey, is learning how to use this new power you have with integrity, with responsibility. This is what the hero's journey calls the return, where you bring what you've learned back to help everyone else. And when we talk about ethics in speaking, it's actually pretty simple at its core. It's about making sure your goals are good and that you're being honest. It means you've done your homework, you're not resorting to cheap shots or name-calling, and you're really trying to put good principles into practice. But it's not always black and white. These ethical questions can get super tricky. Just imagine this scenario for a second. You're a political candidate, and you find out your opponent is about to be indicted. But the news won't break until after the election. Do you use that unconfirmed info to win? I mean, there's no easy answer, right? You're stuck between playing fair and doing what you think is for the greater good. That's the kind of tough calls speakers have to think about. And all of this really brings us back to a piece of wisdom that's, wow, almost 2,000 years old. The Roman educator Quintilian really nailed it. He said the ideal isn't just to be a good speaker. The ideal is to be a good person who happens to speak well. It's about character. So, we'll wrap it up with this. That fear you feel, it's real, for sure, but it is absolutely manageable. The tools we talked about, they're proven to work. And the power that's in your voice, that is undeniable. So now you have a real framework to speak with confidence and to do it with integrity. The only question left is, what will you say?